Hi, this is Yoga with Donna Cavanough. We're going to begin seated, just having a blanket is a handy thing, and making some quiet space for yourself. Bringing your attention to your breathing. Noticing the temperature of the breath as you breathe in and the temperature of the breath as you breathe out. The humidity. When we observe closely enough, we can notice these tiny details of the breath. Body always seeking balance and needing to know the quality of the air that we're breathing in. Notice that the air you breathe out is fairly consistent temperature and humidity. And notice how your body feels in the air today. Is it difficult to sit up straight, or do you feel a little bit heavy, or do you feel lighter, more spacious? What is your experience of sitting? How does the floor feel underneath you? Take notice of being supported. Beautiful. We're going to add an arm movement in to follow the breath. So take notice of your breathing and notice now the rhythm, the inhale and the exhale. We're going to move our arms just to follow that. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, arms down. Give your arms, your shoulders, lots of room. So let the roof of the shoulders, the top of your shoulders, lift when you lift your arm. And follow the breath. So we don't really have to think about the movement. We just let the arms follow the breath. And the mind can rest and observe. Observe if the arms are heavy. Observe if there's tightness in your neck. Ease or difficulty in your shoulders. Beautiful. We're going to lean over to just rest your hands, lean over to the right side and put your right hand down on the floor for support and give yourself a stretch that feels good. So no need to overdo it. It might be a small movement that gives you enough of a feeling in your left side lengthening. Good. And then we're going to go over to the left side. And again, just whatever feels good. So you start to open up the right kidney, right side of the body. Nice work. Back up to center. Let's swap the legs cross. And if your legs aren't comfortable cross, just sit with them straight out in front. Good. Let's go to the right side again. And then the left side. And we'll go to the right side again, and we'll add the arm in, the left arm, reaching overhead or by your ear. And again, just a movement that feels good. Keep room in your shoulders. Letting your shoulder blade just move where it needs to. Beautiful. And the left side. Right arm reaching. Good. And we're going to go one more time to each side, but we'll swap the legs again. The other leg in front. Over to the right, reaching with your left arm. Noticing the breath. Ooh. Lovely work. We're going to turn around now to the left side of Sukhasana. Twist. So use your right hand somewhere on your left leg to help you turn. Find length for your spine. So we have the floor to support, and you want to feel the floor under your sit bones rather than on your coccyx. Sit bones lengthening, turning the rib, and looking back over your left shoulder. And then let's find the breath. And with every exhalation, noticing that there's room to move the rib, to follow the spaciousness of the breath. Lovely. And then back to center and change the cross of the legs again. Back up onto the sit bones, so tilting the pelvis forward a little. And turning to the right, lengthening the spine. Finding as much length as you can from the support of the floor. Relaxing your shoulders, turning your ribs. Following the spaciousness of the breath. And coming back to center. Nice work. We're going to sit up onto your blanket. Take your feet out wide now. Your legs are bent. And we're going to take the feet as wide as you can, the knees as wide as you can. And then we'll take the knees to the floor on the left side. Good. Let's sit up tall here. And we're going to gently turn the front torso to face towards the front. So you're listening here to the experience in the hips, shoulders relaxed, and finding that calm connection to the breath. Nice. Pick up just your right leg. I'm going to take the right knee as far from your left knee as you can, and then keep that distance. And your left knee will need to come off the floor because we're going to turn to the right, but keep the distance between your knees. Good, and we'll turn the knees over to the right, and then the left knee can lay back down on the floor. So we want to bring the torso just as much as is practical for your hips to face towards the front. So we're lifting, making space for the spine, relaxing your shoulders, and finding the flow of the breath, feeling the experience of the hips, especially the left hip here. And let's go back to the first side. You do that by lifting the left leg and making the biggest space you can between your left knee and your right knee, and then keep the space, keep the space, keep the space as you turn to the left, and then you can rest your right leg down. Good. Lift your torso, turning the torso gently to the front. Finding the flow of breath. What greater luxury could we find? Beautiful. Pick up your right leg and keep the distance, right knee to left knee. Keep the distance as you start to turn to the right side. Of course, I've fallen off my blanket. Okay, and then we'll rest the legs down, lift the torso, facing towards front. And making your spine as tall as you can. Beautiful. Finding the flow of the breath. Good. And then back up to center. Nice work. We're going to turn around on the mat. Now, we're going to be balancing on the tailbone. And if you have any tenderness in that part of the body, put a blanket under your tailbone. We're going to hold onto the knees and lean the spine back. And we want a really good experience for the spine. So we don't want to bow it out or hunch the shoulders. We want to find that feeling of good spine alignment. And use the front core of your body to maintain that. So really draw the belly in, shoulders nice and relaxed. And we're just going to pick the feet up off the floor so you're balanced. Nice work. All right, now this might be enough work for the core to hold your balance, or you can go a little further and let go your hand. And some people might feel like they need even more work here, and if that's the case, you can lift your feet. But if it hurts your back, make sure you go back to where it does not hurt your back, and that might still be with the feet on the floor. Good, and we want to hold that nice alignment in the spine. Beautiful. And releasing. Okay, we're going to lay down. Nice, easy practice today. My first Zoom class back for the year. And what is that spinal alignment that works? Not everyone can find it flat on the floor. But what we're looking for is as close to possible sacrum, shoulder blades, and back of the head. Some people need to put a blanket under the head so that it's a more comfortable experience for the neck. So if you feel like when you're lying on the floor, your head has to reach back and you squash the back of your neck somehow to try and reach, then put a little pillow or the blanket. With the legs bent, for most people, we've taken out that pull in the lower back. So it's generally a safer way to practice your alignment. And we've got the legs bent and feet are hip width. And they're also parallel, so the toes don't turn in or out. And the legs are parallel. And this is a perfect position to consider how you feel, whether the body feels straight or whether the hips pull to one side a little. Do you feel even? Does your body have some anxiety about laying on the floor? And as we start to notice all of those little details, we find the breath again. And notice how comforting finding the breath is. Okay, so we might have some tight spots in the body. If I haven't been practicing, it tends to be just at the back of my hips, and for other people, it might be there or somewhere else. Maybe you have an injury that you're nursing. And so we bring a sense of compassion to the body, of love and kindness for yourself. Okay, so let's take the arms out from the shoulders out to the sides. And we're going to lift up the left foot and we're going to put the left foot on the right knee. And we're going to gently start to drop the legs towards the right. And you're going to follow this movement along your pelvis as it starts to, the left hip lifts, along the lower back. And use your core body, your lower core, to hold the movement so that you don't just fall into position, but rather we use the core of the body to let this happen slowly. And you might have the movement where your feet and your knee can rest all the way onto the floor. Doesn't have to go all the way. But we'll just take a moment at your end of range of movement. Pick up your head slightly so you can turn to look left, lay your head back down. And just taking time to feel what's going on. Connecting to your breath. Okay, bring your head back to center. You're on the back of your head. And we're going to use the core of the body to lift the legs really slowly from that point. Really slowly. Really paying attention to using your front lower abdomen, drawing it in towards your spine until you get back up onto both sides of the pelvis. Evenly release your legs, hip width parallel, and then right heel, left knee. And we start to drop the knee and the foot slowly to the left side. And to do that slowly, you need to use your core awareness. The belly, and your back, and the side core. And you start to take the foot and the knee towards the floor. And if it's all the way to the floor, that's fine. You get a little rest, you lucky duck. All right, and we're going to turn to look over the right shoulder and just paying attention to what might be difficult in this movement, what might feel good, and bringing your focus to your breathing. Hmm. Okay, to bring the legs up slowly, we need to really engage the core body. And so we start to lift the foot, the right foot, the left knee, and using your core. Very nice. Put your feet back, hip width parallel, and release your arms. Just relax them on the floor beside you. Lift up your left foot off the floor so that your left knee sits over the top of your right hip. And we're going to make a big circle with your right foot and feel the edges of that movement. Big circle. And breathing deeply. Noticing if that foot movement feels circular or if there are some really tight spots. So we're going to go in the other direction. We try to do this, let's see, more accurately than speedily so that you start to tire the muscles that are working. So it should start to feel tired in those muscles around your ankle, especially the front of the ankle, front of the foot. That's a good thing. Good. And then holding your legs, so your foot is in line with your thigh, everything's in one line. And we're going to dorsiflex and plantarflex. So, which is which? Dorsiflex is pointing your toes towards your knee, and plantarflex is pointing your toes away from your knee. And again, we want to get that feeling of muscular fatigue. It'll really highlight in all that chain of muscular movement we need for walking and running, climbing stairs, coming downstairs. Ooh, whether some of those muscles are getting fatigued faster than others. Okay, and let's put that down and just take a moment. Maybe it feels nice and warm. Very nice reset for the hip and the lower limb. Okay, and we're going to do the left. So left foot comes off the floor and the left knee is over the left hip. All right, and we make our circles now. So you're trying not to let the knee wave around. It just stays nice and still over the left hip. And it's just the foot. We're trying to get the foot to travel with awareness, nice and slow, right around its movement from the ankle. And the fact that muscles start to warm up and feel tired is just what we're looking for. Of course, the longer time you have to do this, the more effective it is, but we'll see what we can do in our short time. Okay, so nice and slow. Starting to tire out your ankle. Good, and then the other direction. See if there's any difference in movement from your right foot to your left foot. See if you can make the movement rounder, especially when you've got flat bits that feel like your movement is just flat. Really try and get the foot to move. Excellent. Okay, and back to center. And then we're going to plantar flex, point your toes away from you, and dorsiflex, back to the knee. And again, we're trying to hold, starting to feel muscles that are getting warm that are feeling tired, working hard. Good. And relax your shoulders, relax your neck. Great. And then releasing that. Okay. Relax now the pelvis. Now what we're going to do is just rock a little bit from side to side across the pelvis. And we're going to look for a more even feeling from side to side. Now you can go further with this movement. You can take your knees closer to the floor if that feels good. But at some point we're going to come back to just rocking a tiny little bit from side to side. And we'll try to get the pelvis really even to the floor. Nice work. All right. And then we're going to bring the arms, interlace the fingers behind the head. And we're going to roll just the upper back from side to side. So you're going to lift your left elbow, lift your head a little, and we'll try to roll the opposite elbow over. So if I'm lifting the right elbow, try to take your right elbow over to the left elbow in that direction. The problem with these kind of exercises is that the arms are strong and they tend to push the head forward uncomfortably. So you're trying to lift up and roll your upper back from side to side, but we don't want to push the head uncomfortably with the strong arms and hands. So relax your head back into your hands. Maybe every time you come to center, relax your head and hands back to the floor. Try that. Good. So we're picking up and rolling from side to side. Can you feel how the pelvis is stable to the floor? Nice and balanced from side to side. And it's just the upper body moving. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to release and we'll try and lie back down so we feel really even in the upper back as well. Great. Bring your feet off the floor, hold your toes, and we're going to try and put the feet on the floor as close under your sit bones as you can. You might not be able to hold your toes, but just wiggle your feet as close as you can to the sit bones. And then we'll stretch the quadriceps by bringing the knees towards the floor. If you don't feel any stretch here, you can make it stronger by putting the blanket underneath your hips. So we'll just take a moment to stretch that side. Good. And then we're going to release and you swap the cross of the legs, bring the feet back as close as you can under your sit bones, onto the floor, under the sit bones, and then knees to the floor. And hopefully you're stretching the other side. Bringing your focus to the breath again. Nice work. And then releasing. We're going to roll over to the right side. And we're going to find forward virasana. So taking a kneeling position at the back of the mat, big toes touching and knees, making enough space for your belly and your chest. And we'll walk the arms forward and begin to investigate that feeling of stretching the back of the spine and the shoulders. And we've been doing this awareness of lengthening the spine, the alignment of the spine, feeling even across the pelvis and across the shoulders. So see if you can bring that information now into your posture.
Noticing where you might feel uneven in your body from side to side. Just observing that information. Finding the flow of the breath. Is there any way with the breath that you can become a little more spacious here? Maybe the spine can lengthen. Maybe the shoulders can relax a little. Or you can find that sense of evenness. Lovely. We're going to look forward at the hands. And we're going to bring the chest along out in front, so between the arms, and wiggle your knees in so your knees are about hip width. We're going to lay the hips down, lay the belly down. Good. So your hands are at around chest level, and bring your elbows in and back, and then lift your torso again off the floor. So legs are on the floor. We lift and face forward, lifting your breastbone, lifting your ribs. Good. And we're going to lower down and lifting again. And we have that sense of evenness either side of the spine and laying down. Good. And then lifting one more time. Elbows in, elbows back. And this time we're going to press, straighten your arms and press all the way back into your forward virasana. So take your knees out as wide as feels good. Take your hips back towards your heels as far as that works for you. Mm. And can you make more space? Can you find the flow of breath? Good. And then we're going to bring the chest forward through the hands again and lay your tummy down onto the floor. Just bring your knees towards each other so they're about hip width. So we lay down. This time when you lift up, you can keep your hands sort of in the line of the chest, or you can even try and bring them beside you so they're not helping you lift. So whichever one feels okay. And then we're going to lower down. And we're going to lift up and look forward. And we're going to lower down. We're going to lift up and look forward. Lift your hands. If you're not using your hands, lift them up nice and high. Legs feel strong and long. And you're appreciating working towards evenness in your body here. Beautiful. Bring your hands back under your chest. Lift the chest up onto straight arms. Lift up onto your knees and press back into your forward virasana again. So hips back towards your heels, just as far as they go. Arms forward as far as they'll go. Finding the flow of your breath. Enjoying each breath moment by moment. Good. And then we're going to lift up onto all fours. Okay, in all fours, we're going to make a spinal wave movement. So you need to bend your elbows and just start to move as fluidly as you can. And what we're trying to do is wave the spine in its forward and back range of movement. So you can take your hands further forward if that makes more sense. Because you're on your hands, spread the fingers out, press the base of the index fingers and the fingerprints. And you'll be working your hands more evenly, creating an even strength. Good, and we're waving the spine. It might feel awkward, especially if you haven't done these kind of movements. And then the other direction. Beautiful. We're going to tuck the toes under and we're going to lift the knees just off the floor. So press the fingerprints and breathing deeply. Giving the toes a nice stretch. The core of the body working here. Keep the front and back of the neck long. The shoulders broad. Beautiful. Knees to the floor. And this time we're going to rest the shoulders in child's pose. So arms back beside you. Hips as close to heels as you can. Finding the flow of your breath. Good. We're going to take all fours movement again. Lift up your left leg and we're going to lift the knee as high as you can. We're going to try and keep the hips level to the floor. So we're on the hands again, make sure the fingers are wide. Press your fingerprints, base of the index fingers. Okay, and let's start to take the left knee in a nice big circle. So the core of the body has to hold the hips steady, but we want the leg to move right around in the hip joint as far as you can. Try to use your left buttock muscle. So that's being used when you're lifting the leg behind you, stabilizing when you're going out to the side. Good. Try to use that muscle. Good. And then the other direction. Connecting to your flow of breath. Letting the shoulders stay relaxed. Okay, that's enough on that leg. Let's lift the right leg. The right knee lifts. And we're going to explore keeping the hips level to the floor, but really moving your leg as much as you can around that hip socket. Good. Trying to use the right gluteus muscle. Let's go in the opposite direction. So feel where the gluteus muscle is really useful with the lift of the leg behind you. Holding it steady out to the side. One more. Beautiful work. And we're going to lay down now. No standing poses. What? That's time enough. Okay, we're going to take the right knee, start off with legs bent, feet on the floor, hip width. Just take your right knee into your chest and you're going to hug that knee in. Observing any sensation in the hip.
difficult or easeful, whatever it might be. Appreciating. Good, and place that foot back down. And then the left knee. Then we'll release that leg. Okay, so now that we're laying here with the legs bent, feet hip width parallel, and just checking in with your body now. And there still might be that feeling that we're a little bit twisted, or maybe there's still those places in the body that we have to pay extra care to. But the difference, hopefully, from the beginning of the practice to the end of the practice is that we really can tune in. Finding your breath and rolling gently now to your right side. And coming to your bringing your hands in front of your heart. And taking the feeling of the practice with you. Namaste.